what is the fire of God, and what are the benefits of it?
Absolutely. You know, so when I got saved, I started reading that Bible I had. And I immediately saw in Matthew 3, there was a spirit, water, and fire. And I began to cry out for what the fire was. I was baptized in water. I was saved, but I wanted that fire in my life. And so as I began to read, I realized that we weren't meant to live without it. As Christians, every day of our life, the Holy Spirit needs to be with us and empower us to be parents, to be children, to work at our jobs. Everywhere we go, that fire would burn in us. And an appetite got created in my life, and I was convinced I wasn't going to live anymore without the fire of God in my life. I wanted it all. You know, you mentioned Catherine Coleman. She said, why settle for a cupful if the whole ocean is ours? Man, I want the whole ocean. I want it all.
What do people miss if they don't operate in the fire of God? What are they missing?
Yeah, I think we're living underneath the privileges. You know, I think a lot of the attacks that we go through, you know, it's interesting. We just had a famous basketball player unfortunately die in a helicopter crash. They said the pilot had something called special disorientation. That means you actually can get to a point, the fluid's out of your ear, you don't know which way's up, right, left, down. In faith, if we're not plugged into the source with the presence, with faith, then we're going to go through things in life and be confused. We're going to be spiritually disoriented, and we're not going to know which way is up. Discernment, I believe, is the greatest thing we need.
2015. The fire of God, and you'll be amazed at this, visited his church, visited him. What happened?
Yes, the reason I wrote the book. It was a snowy night in February in 2015. I had a guest speaker supposed to come in. We were in the middle of worship, and he said, I'm canceled at my connecting flight.
Was this the church you're in now?
Yes.
And tell me just briefly.
Absolutely. Historic church, New London, Connecticut, one of the first 50 churches ever in America, 750-seat sanctuary. But here's the kicker. Jonathan Edwards, George Whitefield, David Brainerd. I have the notes. Some of the greatest awakeners ever in the history of America preached in that building.
That was called the Great Awakening.
Yes.
He has the building. They preached it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So what happened that night?
So the minute he canceled, I mean, obviously I could speak, but I felt a different presence in the room. And I knew that something special was going to happen. So I got on my face. I started praying. I was going to set the pace for what he wanted to do. And all of a sudden I looked, and in the front of the church on the right was a baptismal. Jesus is standing behind that. And I see fire bubbling from the inside of the baptismal. And the Father said this to me: I am reigniting the fire of awakening again. And my people will be like flames of fire, and it will go out into the street and bring in an end time awakening. And he said this: it will not go out. My fire will burn in the streets. My fire will burn in the streets. That night, miracles took place. We were all undone. We knew that God was speaking clearly. The altar was filled, worship, prophetic worship's filling the sanctuary, and I basically crawled back into my office. And as I'm in the office, we're still worshiping through the wall. I hear an explosion. I mean, boom.
A real explosion.
Oh, yeah, in the natural. And we all got scared. I had ushers running to the door, seeing what happened. Nothing. I'm like, what was that sound? And they're looking, checking the premises. Everything seemed okay for a minute. So we're still there, kind of now trying to get back into worship. There was a knock on the door that leads to the outside of my office. A woman in the church says, Pastor, fire in the streets. I said, and it won't go out this time. She said, no, fire is in the streets. She said, not your vision, literally. We ran to the street, and here's what happened. And keep in mind, the city's like 200, 300 years old. A transformer exploded underneath the ground near our church. The word I got for the year was transformation. I get one word for the year. It was amazing. And what happened was, when the explosion happened, it blew off manhole covers all around our church. Come on, the lids of men are coming off. And fire was shooting out of the street all around our church, not even anywhere in the city, just right around our church, fire spitting out of the streets.
That was a sign from God,
yes,
of your commission and your calling.